In the vast, wind-swept steppes of Central Asia, under a sky that stretched endlessly over mountains and deserts, a boy was born who would one day shake the world. Not of royal blood, not destined for crowns, yet driven by an ambition as vast as the plains themselves, he would rise to carve an empire out of the chaos of the 14th century world. His name, Tamerlane, or Timur, would echo through centuries, feared by some, revered by others, and remembered forever in the annals of history. The land of his birth was unforgiving. Endless grasslands swayed under gusts of harsh wind, dust rising in spirals from the dry earth. Nomadic tribes roamed these lands, locked in cycles of loyalty, betrayal, and survival. Survival demanded cunning, strength, and an unyielding will. And it was here, amidst this relentless environment, that Timur's character would be forged, shaped by hardship, strategy, and an unquenchable thirst for power. Timur was born in 1336 in Kesh, near modern-day Shahrasabz in Uzbekistan, into a family that was noble but not royal. His lineage traced back to the Mongols, descendants of Genghis Khan, yet Timur's path was not predetermined by inheritance. From a young age, he learned that survival required more than birthright. It demanded intelligence, leadership, and vision. He watched the tribal councils and local conflicts with keen eyes, noting how alliances were forged and broken, how power shifted subtly from one chieftain to another, and how even a single misstep could cost a life. He observed warriors, not just for their skill in combat, but for their strategy, discipline, and ability to inspire fear or loyalty. Timur absorbed lessons that were as practical as they were brutal: the ability to read people, the value of psychological warfare, and the unforgiving logic of strength in a world where weakness was fatal. From his earliest years, Timur demonstrated an unusual combination of intelligence, curiosity, and ruthless determination. He trained with weapons, rode horses with agility, and tested himself against peers in simulated battles. His mind, sharp and unrelenting, began to see patterns where others saw only chaos. By his adolescence, it was clear that Timur was not destined to remain a mere tribal warrior. He had the ambition to rise, and the cunning to succeed. Timur's ascent was not a straight path. The political landscape of Central Asia was fragmented, with rival tribes, petty chieftains, and decaying empires all competing for dominance. It was a world in which alliances shifted like sand in the wind, where trust was rare and treachery frequent. Timur's early victories were modest but strategic. He allied with powerful families, cultivated loyalty among his followers, and began to understand the broader mechanics of power. Unlike rulers who relied solely on birthright, Timur relied on intelligence and calculated ruthlessness. He would negotiate with a rival only to strike when the moment was advantageous, combining patience with precision. His discipline inspired loyalty, his ambition inspired fear, and his vision promised order amidst chaos. Slowly, he began consolidating power, uniting disparate tribes under his leadership, and creating an army loyal not to a name, but to his strategy and charisma. Timur's genius lay not only in brute strength but in strategy. He observed battles meticulously, noting the strengths and weaknesses of both his troops and his enemies. He trained in the arts of siege warfare, cavalry tactics, and psychological manipulation. Timur understood that the mind could be as powerful a weapon as the sword. He plotted campaigns across deserts, mountains, and river valleys, accounting for terrain, supply lines, and the morale of both allies and adversaries. His armies became instruments of fear and precision. Cavalry units struck swiftly, leaving dust clouds on the horizon. Archers fired coordinated volleys, infantry advanced in disciplined formations, and artillery units breached walls with terrifying efficiency. Every city faced a choice: resist and be destroyed, or submit and survive. The mere mention of Timur's name could topple morale before a single arrow was shot. Timur's conquests were vast. From Central Asia, he swept across Persia, the Middle East, the Caucasus, and the Indian subcontinent. Cities fell under his campaigns, leaving behind devastation for those who resisted and meticulous administration for those who submitted. His empire was built on speed, coordination, and psychological dominance, as well as the calculated use of fear. Yet Timur was not merely a destroyer. He was a ruler obsessed with order and legacy. He invested in the cities he conquered, establishing governance systems, building infrastructures, and commissioning monuments. Samarkand, his capital, became a jewel of the medieval world, adorned with turquoise domes, intricate tilework, and bustling centers of learning. Scholars, architects, and artisans thrived under his patronage, balancing the brutality of his campaigns with cultural advancement. Timur's life was defined by contrasts. He could be both a brutal conqueror and a cultured patron. He could impose terror on a battlefield while fostering the growth of art, science, and architecture. This duality made him a complex figure, admired by those who valued order and strength, feared by those who suffered from his campaigns, and studied by historians centuries later who sought to understand the paradoxes of his rule. In private, Timur was a meticulous planner. He studied maps, read manuscripts, and contemplated the consequences of each military campaign. His decisions were informed by careful observation and historical precedent, as he sought not only to conquer but to understand the human and cultural landscapes of the regions he dominated. This combination of intelligence, ambition, and psychological insight made him one of the most formidable rulers in history. Centuries later, Timur's legacy remains a topic of debate. Some see him as a visionary who brought order and stability to chaotic regions, a patron of culture whose empire became a center of learning and artistry. Others remember him as a conqueror whose campaigns brought immense suffering and destruction. Yet even his critics cannot deny the scale of his achievements or the lasting impact of his empire on the geography, culture, and political structures of Central Asia and beyond. Timur's cities, particularly Samarkand, still stand as testaments to his vision. Monuments, mosques, and madrasas commissioned by him continue to inspire all. His name lives on in history books, maps, and stories, a symbol of ambition, power, and the dual nature of human capacity for creation and destruction. Tamerlane's story is not merely one of battles won or territories claimed. It is a story of vision, intellect, and the complexity of human ambition. A boy born in the steppes rose to command an empire that reshaped continents, influenced cultures, and left a legacy that has been felt for centuries. He reminds us that history is rarely black and white. Timur was both destroyer and creator, tyrant and patron, feared and respected. His life is a testament to the extraordinary potential of ambition and strategy, as well as the consequences of unchecked power. In the end, Tamerlane remains a figure larger than life, a man whose shadow stretches across time. His empire has faded, his battles are long past, yet his story endures, etched into the sands of Central Asia, the stones of Samarkand, and the memory of the world. If you found this journey through history fascinating, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more cinematic stories from the past. Share your thoughts below. Do you see Tamerlane as a hero, a villain, or both?